A lot of beautiful games coming up today. As it stands right now, DCP is currently live. I don't cast against them because there's no way I'm going to go up against the Summit. Now, if it turns out I get a whole bunch of people following on, then yeah, absolutely, and I get requests to actually to host some of that stuff, or at least to cast some of it, I'm totally down, especially considering some of the topics that I bring, as well as RoboBlitz. We bring a little bit of the different eye. We're looking at different things as a lower stage game or even a mid-range, some of the finer details that you don't find in some of the other conversations. We try to fill up some of those gaps for the people that are actually trying to expand their knowledge base, rather than just saying completely what's going on. We like to explain the why. Without the why, there's no reason to push forward. But currently, we have iGaming versus Sky in the Dota Pro League 2. This is a Russian stream, and unfortunately, no one looks like they're casting this. So we're going to make a go-ahead and attempt to push this a little bit forward. They did cast all day yesterday. I don't know why they're not following up with the duration of today, but I'm going to go ahead and try to fill in the gap, at least for some of our English speakers. We do have an 18-11 game already, 11 minutes and 53 seconds in. Pudge did hook a neutral camp. Let's see kind of where everybody's sitting here on this time of eye. We do have an easy first tower coming down. Tier 1, Life Stealers dropping in. Just pushing away. They decided to go ahead and push the Tombstone up here on top of it. It looks like we might have missed a team fight. TA might have just passed away, as well as a Dark Willow. But they do have 4 rotate at top. Lena looks like she might be able to just grab a bunch of free farm mid. But Lena, for the most part, grabs a boatload of free farm as it is. Once you get that Dragon Slave and the Light Strike array out, I mean, you're basically just nuking waves and just kind of running around as fast as you can. TA looks like she's kind of been going up. She does have a Dragon Lance already. Let's kind of look at the itemization. We do have Armlet sitting on top of the Life Stealer. We do have Raindrops. That's probably going to be for, I'm guessing he took a lot of harass from the Dark Willow, because that Shadow Realm, it definitely has a bit of a sting to it. Raindrops sitting on there on the Undying did go pretty heavy into the Tombstone, so definitely able to push, as well as team fight. Life Stealer sitting on 134, very Feast, Ghoul Frenzy, pretty common for the actual stats builds that you're going to go with. Now, heavy harass on the Intel, Arcane Bolt. We did see a 5 Null Talisman Sky Wrath the other day. That was kind of interesting. I can't say it's not viable. A quick stun from the Lena, and that's a disengagement out of the Spirit Breaker. So she basically is going to get a walk away safe just because she knows how to hit her stuns. It's all about timing with Lena. If you don't hit your timings, especially if you're going to get stunned on the Spirit Breaker can actually nuke you down with no real issues. We do have Storm Spirit does have a bottle set up. Looks like he's going definitely for that Orchid. That really common pickup. Orchid, pretty mandatory too. You zip in, you silence whoever you're taking out, basically making sure they can't stun you out or do anything, because you are invulnerable during the time of your zippity zip, as I guess he would say it. Dark Will and Lifestealer are going to get an easy mid tower here, and looks like it's sitting at 90 HP. Somebody can right click that down. Another stun, or at least an Ice Path, making sure the Spirit Breaker doesn't connect on this charge of darkness. It looks like Lena's going to go out anyway. Feared, unfortunately, even though she landed that Fear, the tower's currently down. Skywrath just nuking down as much as he can on top of the Dark Willow, and basically gets hooked too. Pudge coming around, he did a wraparound, does take down the Tombstone, and that is another push. I mean, you're trading a tier 1 tower for 3 kills. Probably not the most advantageous of choices, but you know, you got to find and push the game. At this point, I guess it's objective aiming. You close down the map. You end up getting with a large amount of people that forget that you want to push into every single ounce of that map. You want to start claiming it and snuffing out your opponent, because the more resources you have on your team and your side, the better off you are, because you're now maintaining a significant portion of that map, and that rune control, map control, really critical, especially at the 14-minute this game. You're kind of starting to establish your boundaries, their boundaries, and trying to make sure that nobody survives in a lot of this. We do have Jakiro. He does have regular boots. Does have a couple smokes sitting on him. Dragon Lance on the TA we mentioned, a little bit of agility kind of build. Did go with, it looks like Heavy Refraction, Heavily Meld, probably going to be playing as the mid. Another smoke coming up. Really good job on that Jakiro. Smokes are always very welcome. Pudge does not have any points in the flesh heap. That's pretty common. Wants to maximize that damage output and get as many kills as he can. Within that team fight, does have a Strength Bracer as well as an Aether Lens. We have the Dark Willow, a little bit extra movement speed with that Wind Lance, just any type of mobility if you're going to be kiting in, kiting out, and looks like she's going to go ahead and go with the Yules rather than the, I want to say Aghanim Scepter. I'm a big Aghanim Scepter fanboy. I'd like to see the the Willow transition into like a position 1 core just from getting kills. Now we do have another charge. Charge comes in, instantly hooked on the Lina. Grab the fear on the Storm Spirit, unable to actually zip out of there despite having a decent cast animation. It looks like everybody's going to be caught in that macro pyre from the Jakiro. Still another ice path. Is there a hook available? There is, and it is absolutely unnecessary as the hook, despite missing, they still end up with the kill anyway. Lina does have Yules as well as 2 Null Talisman and Boots of Travel. A lot of mobility, a lot of split push. You can move around. Unfortunately, it looks like Pudge overstayed his welcome. Ice Path actually does not connect, but they're still going to push into this tower, this tier 2 tower here. They do have vision, compliments of the Psionic Trap there from the TA. Zippin coming in from the Storm Spirit. Not a lot he can actually do. Does get the silence off on the TA. She's unable to meld, refract, or just get out of dodge. Of course, 4v TA, you're bound to die one way or the other. Does anybody have dust or wards? Looks like one way or the other. If she was able to pop invis and even get like a little bit of hideaway, but nonetheless, she's still susceptible to AoE damage, which basically means Decay would completely slaughter her in the end. Right? There's no coming out of that Decay. We do have the Storm Spirit coming in on the Dark Willow. Willow doesn't really care, just chops a shadow, just get the stun off. The Storm Spirit basically stuck there. A whole lot of mana used. Trying to get Yules'd up, or not trying to get Yules'd up. Gets his way out of there. Would like to probably see a Bloodstone on that guy as soon as humanly possible. Let's go ahead and see what the override camera takes us through, and we'll see where everybody kind of jumps around. As you can see, they're still trying to chase down the Lina. Does get, unable to pop any kind of additional remnants to get any kind of bonus damage. Storm is going in really heavy without having extra mana. Now you need to be able to have Electric Vortex. You're going to make sure you get your remnant off. You don't really want to come out or go in and engage into a fight without having that ball lightning available to disengage. A little bit of extra charge coming in, does get feared. This Spirit Breaker is having a hell of a time trying to connect those dark charges. Charge of Darkness is with that much stun and reliability on the other team, but from the Lina as well as the fear from the Willow, it's kind of rough landing those stuns. You can even get hooked at this point if you're going to charge into the Pudge. Refractions don't really hurt or help a whole lot. They do negate the damage from getting charged as well as the ultimate coming from the Spirit Breaker. Go back to the override camera. Looks like they're going to go ahead and disengage for a little bit. No one plans on pushing towers. They are waiting, looks like, for possibly a Roche. We have a little bit of Roche Pit movement around here. Maybe trying to catch some vision on the Roche Pit. Ooh, does drop an eye right in front of the Punch. I do like that eye location. I'm probably going to start using that for myself. It's a really quick engage. If you look at the actual rim, looks like somebody was charged just to take down some creeps. They are rotating into their jungle despite Storm Spirit split pushing that bottom lane. There is a hook from the Pudge directly onto that Skywrath Mage. Once again, you don't want to be around the enemy team camp without mana, even as a Skywrath Mage, almost more especially, the only thing you have is the ability to out-harass and DPS the opponent. You don't really offer a whole lot without any type of mana. Skywrath doesn't do a lot of right-click, doesn't have a lot of disengage, would and should play around his friends. A little bit more backline, in my opinion. We do have... not necessarily a free farming TA, especially now, but they are going to go ahead and commit the Ice Path Macro Pyre. He drops the Tombstone with no follow-up from his teammates. It looks like Spirit Breaker, nutty or not, plans on trying to engage. That's a free Tombstone. That is definitely a free Tombstone. Going back to Override, let's look at the last hits and kind of get an idea of how some of the laning phase went. It looks like TA definitely rocked it out along with the Lina. It's hard to say who is actually mid. Both are an option, but we can go with the typically your XP per minute or even current level. Going to the current level kind of give you more an idea of who was where. Definitely TA went mid. She rocked everybody. TA is the one to be paranoid about, despite the rest of her team being significantly under-leveled. The TA, if they fight around her with the meld and refraction charges, the survivability that TA has, there's still a pretty good chance they can come out of this. I wouldn't look for too much outside from this Pudge. He does have 11 flesh heap, though, so he's barely getting to the point where he's worrying about the tanky magic damage. But let's more consider some of the KDR on this. 12-8 on the Skywrath Mage, 8-2 from the Life Stealer, 7-3 on the TA. Probably would be looking to play a little bit more, but this is engagement from the enemy team, so a lot of the Radiant has a lot of the higher kill sets. Unfortunately, your Styx 9 with a 7 on your Pudge. The deaths, whenever you have more deaths than kills on a Pudge, you know you're just having a tougher life. He does go ahead and utilize that hook to quick farm that range siege creep. Obviously, just kind of like a Hanamitis. You do have a Life Stealer sitting inside of the Storm Spirit. Life Stealer just letting the Storm Spirit die, despite being able to come out of there. Pretty sure Life Stealer was expecting, or Storm Spirit was expecting a little bit more engagement from the Life Stealer. They're just tagging now. Are they going to get this, Roshan? I know that I have heard that early Tombstone is very possible to take Roshan out with. I haven't done it a whole lot myself personally, but I'm told I think Tombstone level 2 is an option. Dropping the heals goes the goes the Undying. I figured if I and Sky, if they can be here currently, and they can be playing, someone can be casting. Like, why not? I want to watch the DPC also, but it's difficult to say that they don't deserve. They absolutely do. Iron Sky putting a lot of effort into these games, especially on a day like today with DPC being up. Ooh, does land a beautiful hook. I would venture to say that that is one dead Tombstone dropper. It looks like they're going to go ahead and commit double ulti coming out of the Skywrath Mage. And we do have a charge that has not been able to... Oh, we do have a... It looks like he does get the Nether Strike off. Zip onto the Jakiro. Yules onto the Spirit Breaker. A Fear, double Fear, a whole lot of run. And TA is still the one to fear, I believe. That is 10-3, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, and... Oh, that's just a Sentry Ward. But 3 kills going the way of TA. If you look at this recap, you did give another 892 to what is already an over-level TA. TA, like I said, despite her team being a little bit lower overall when it comes to the levels, Tombstone being committed for Vision here. Yeah, TA is extremely dangerous. Storm Spirit sacrificing his life, hoping to get the Aegis pickup. I was kind of waiting to see that kind of go over here, but it looks like the TA was able to pick it up. No real issues. TA's wanting to push now. She has been farm frenzy and farm happy for sure. Does have a blink dagger. Did grab up that Desolator as well as a BKB. Very difficult to kill. Very difficult to control, especially with the refraction charges. She's currently up to 5 retraction charges. She's going to go ahead and tank a lot of this tower. Might as well. I suppose that there's no necessary need. And you can see how much damage that damage actually hits off whenever she procs any type of crit, even just a natural crit base. Ooh, she's currently disarmed. This Heaven's Halberd there, you can tell by that green animation. Run as fast as you can, says the Skywrath Mage. Ooh, a very large zip from a from a Storm Spirit. Looks like they're able to land a hook. The Tombstone is located in mix 4. I did hear a Laguna Blade. I'm pretty sure that's what popped off. Oh, it looks like Lifesteal actually picked up the kill on that Jakiro. Fear being used. And they're trying to take down that Storm Spirit. Unfortunately, Lifestealer seems a little bit underwhelming. TA still right-clicking everybody despite having almost no mana there. She's basically whipping all the tail in the world. She did have a very far game behind to come back from. So this TA, after picking up that BKB and Desolator, has become a very severe force to deal with. And they just want to grab this tier 2, probably disengage. They don't have to worry about getting charged and dived onto because the Spirit Breaker still has 24 seconds left. Of course, a lot of the major harass coming out of the Skywrath Mage, he was nuked out during that team fight. And it looks like they're going to disengage. They're going to let that tier 2 tower stand. See what kind of itemization we have. Looks like all stats done. Level 18 on the Lifestealer. Does have Armlet and that Halberd. The Halberd's been used on the TA on several times. And that does basically forces the TA to disengage for a small moment. We do have Undying. He does have Smoke as well as Dust. Dust probably to be picked up for anybody. Let's see who's actually got the invisibility on this side. Skywrath, it looks, oh, I see, and even the Spirit Breaker hasn't picked up any kind of visibility. Sometimes you will see a Silver Edge picked up on a Spirit Breaker, which is what I would pre-purchase Dust for, just for that, you know, one shock moment reveal. So Spirit Breaker comes in, you get hit by an invisible cow and your life sucks. If you go up to the top, it looks like Storm Spirit and Lifestealer are going to go ahead and try to push in this top tier 2. You did get an ulti right off on the one that wants to zip away. Looks like that is a quick death for the Storm Spirit. Not a whole lot to argue about when this member kind of hits you. You're just dead. Laguna Blade committed onto the Tombstone Holder. You got the Fat Undying. Dying fairly quickly. Is this going to be another pickoff? That is a miss hook, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like... oh, I would be slightly cranky, you know, at that punch in this moment. He does have, looks like 16 total flesh heap, which isn't terrible for this stage of the game. A little bit additional disengage. I'm not 100% sure exactly how the TA died. I did hear the Aegis used, and it looks like it was a quick death. Probably an overextension. We did have a comeback. Punch decided to jump back to the top just to go ahead and defend. Let's see. They might make a play to get onto this Jakiro. Jakiro is currently silenced. We have Storm Spirit jumping on top of the Dark Willow, who's been able to do a lot of crowd control using a lot of that fear throughout these engagements. Spirit Breaker making a commitment to jump up on top, despite having very minimal mana and HP at this point. Another free flesh heap goes the way of the... Oh man, this Pudge. It's like they're feeding him intentionally at this point just to see how much he can eat and how big his belly can get. Another quick disengage. We do have Storm Spirit trying to pick up, looks like itemization-wise, it's going to be a BKB. I don't think there's a whole lot of purchasing going on from the side of Undying. Not really getting a whole lot of farm. Let's check out this net worth here. We got TA at 16.9, Lena sitting at 14.3, Lifestealer at 14. It's kind of all over the board. Exactly what you would expect, though, of the TA. Lena finally taking her way up on top of the leaderboard. She was sitting in the mid-range. Another death to the Storm Spirit, and it looks like another free stack for the Pudge. Pretty excited for him. He's having a beautiful game, I would imagine. Let's see, TA gonna run mid up here. See what she's got. Dang, 603 potential damage on a beautiful crit. Like to see a little bit more coming out of her way, but she's going to have to farm up that Daedalus until she's very deadly. Looks like the rest of her team, though, is going to be pushing into that tier 3 on the bottom lane. Not a lot of mana sitting on the Lena. I would have a little bit of concern here. Does not have bottle. 9.88 mana regeneration. Currently enough to get off 2 parts of her combo, but not enough to actually get a kill potential off the Laguna Blade. Looks like that Lincoln Sphere finally did some work, but who cares when you got enough right-click to nuke everybody down. And the Laguna Blade, apparently not even remotely necessary, does have the damage to help wipe up. It looks like the kills did go the route of the Dark Willow, though. Pudge throwing out that Cash hook. Undying does not have the Tombstone available, unfortunately. Probably like to have done that to drop that down, try to get a little bit of pushback. But even so, they're having a very difficult time. Once that TA come online, as you can see, she's basically four-shotting this Undying down to death. Psionic Blade used, the Yule's up in the air, and it looks like they're going to pop the Spirit Breaker. This Lifestealer, once again, hanging out without popping out during the engagement process, sits inside of his partner. I got to say, Detroit needs to probably start stepping up certain portion of his game where he actually decides to engage immediately whenever they get the jump on someone using the Charge of Darkness or the Storm Spirit's Ball Lightning. It's very difficult, I think, at this point for a comeback. It just, he needs to be able to have that, the gonads, I guess you would say, to just jump out and get it, especially if you're going to sit inside of somebody and that popped out. Anyway, they do get the ball lightning. It looks like Storm Spirit's going to pick up a kill easily on that Jakiro. Jakiro actually went the way of Lifestealer. Another Charge of Darkness coming in, probably just for farm. Doesn't look like he has vision on anything outside from the potential creeps. Not exactly sure where he was charging. Obviously, it's going to be somewhere in the top lane. Haste Rune, very deadly on the Spirit Breaker. Unfortunately, does anybody still have Bottle left to maintain and hold that for him? I'm a big fan of handing someone Bottle. Should be the Spirit. He was actually sitting mid, so he should have the Bottle. I'm a big fan of actually giving the Bottle to my partner, having them pick up the Bottle and then picking up the rune. Spirit Breaker, if he ends up with that extra charge, it's a lot of damage. This is interesting. I think he just wanted to make the Lifestealer poop himself. I feel like there's a certain level of disappointment going on. Despite Lifestealer being the top of the net worth on their side, it looks like he's just waiting for very advantageous timings rather than just kind of going along with it and still end up dying anyway. It looks like we have a disengagement. Let's go ahead and look at some of the builds here. Lifestealer does have Armlet. Let's finish the Soul Curious. We do have a Lotus sitting on top of the Undying. Looks like Skywrath does not want to get right-clicked to death. Did pick up a Ghost Scepter. That is a very defensive Ghost Scepter. As you can see here, currently attempted being used, not beneficial. Does get right-clicked down. Looks like the TA and the Lina definitely fat enough to do more than enough damage to take down all 5. Not necessarily by themselves. They definitely need a little bit more stuns and fear coming in here from the hands of Ice Path as well as the Dark Willow. Sonic Trap being placed. It's probably to give them, I'm not exactly 100% sure why you would place a Psionic there, but it's fairly common. Probably just an addiction to have it. She has so many of these anyway. Plus, if anything does happen, she can actually teleport from or to that Psionic Trap. So it is a bit of mobility if she does have the Ags, but she's not really Ag ready yet. So the quick teleports aren't really an option. It looks like he tried to go into the blink, does not land a hook. Not quite yet. Grabs the hook on the Spirit Breaker. Immediately, oh, he breaks the descent. Oh, man. Still going to pick up a quick kill. It's not like he could teleport out anyway. But he did land, and he disconnected on that Dismember. I don't know why he canceled that Dismember. Probably going to be some type of misclick, or he didn't want to get the kill for some reason. Not 100% sure. But I want to say that was definitely an accident. So going back in, since we're disengaged again, we do have, we said the Ghost Scepter did not pay off. Used the Ghost Scepter, still died mid anyway. Tons of magic damage around here. Does amplify magic damage, so Lina is just really excited to see you glowing green. We do have the Kaya as well as the Orchid up on the Storm Spirit. I would personally like to see something like a, something with a lot more mana, like a Bloodstone on the Storm Spirit, but it might be a little bit late for a Bloodstone considering you're 32 minutes in. It looks like this game, if you do grab it, you're still looking at another 10 minutes. And after this Roshan gets picked up, I don't feel like this game's going to last terribly much longer. Do have the Phase Boots as well as the Aghanim Scepter on the Charge of Darknessing Cow here. So Mr. Moo Cow is going to have that opportunity to run in. It does make it significantly faster. It also pierces magic immunity, so good luck having a BKB on. You're still going to have to deal with that bash and the Moo Cow in your face, which obviously Spirit Breaker being Captain Moo Cow. We have on the Jakiro, Glimmering Cape. Looks like there's a quick pause. That's perfect. Glimmering Cape as well as Yules. Basic boots, given a decent amount of farm considering Yules. It is a 33-minute timing currently though, so I don't know exactly how much farm of this is more passive than not. If we look at the KDA, it looks like he is 4-13, so a lot of this gold has to be very patiently earned. This is definitely like a one piece at a time scenario. TA sitting over here does top their charts of the 12-4. Like I said, a force to be reckoned with. Did finish the Daedalus. Obviously had that Blink Dagger very early on. BKB's completed. We'll swap out that Dragon Lance for the Aegis. Obviously, you're probably going to die. You can put that Dragon Lance back in. Hopefully, that evasion on the way might actually be pretty beneficial. Ice Path down on the Undying. A little bit of vision check for the Lina, make sure they don't get hit from behind. They are going to try to push up. We have the Zip. He does jump out of the Storm Spirit immediately. A quick pick off on the TA, who should be returning back to the game here shortly. A blink out. Looks like she places a trap, a disengagement. Looks like a hook comes in on the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit immediately silenced. Potentially right-click down, does get murdered out. BKB sitting on the side of the TA. Dismember on the Life Stealer. She can be able to right-click out his life steal as well as his armlet toggling. It looks like Meld, still not enough damage to take him down. He's just standing there. He's like, out-toggle me, bro. Oh, that's a lot of magic. Nope, no additional magic damage coming the way of the Skywrath, but he still dies despite utilizing that Ghost Scepter. Just still mainly more of a delay rather than a save. It's rather unfortunate. I know that is not exactly a cheap item to buy, but you get frustrated when you buy something, you plan on it working very well, and then it just lets you down, unfortunately. It's a side effect of the game. We do have a Blink Dagger as well as Yule's combo sitting on the Dark Willow, always making sure her Brambles hits. Well, she's finally going to start picking up a... looks like the Ags, which gives her significant damage. I like first rolling Ags if I'm going to Dark Willow. I have this build with Robo Blitz, which is fantastic. It's Ags basically, and then you end up with a Mask of Madness. You right click everybody down, you end up with a Moon Shard, you win. There's a high skill cap when it comes to getting in and out of dodge, especially in your Shadow Realm. We do have Yule's as well as a Crystallis kind of picked up, BKB, Lincoln Sphere on the Lena. That's going to be very beneficial to make sure you're not immediately charged every 5 seconds, even though it does pierce spell immunity. I'd like to see whether or not that Charge of Darkness does pop. So here we go again on the road. Looks like TA is maintaining a lot of pressure on this mid lane. She's just doing everything she can to keep that pressure. Now, TA is still very good at a rat Dota form, pending she picks up her Aghanim Scepter. Does not have one yet. Not sure if that's on the list, though. Very likely not. She did go for the Swift Blink, so bonus agility. Doesn't get the damage bonus from the strength, but it's definitely going to be worth it right-click wise. Phase movement speed, attack speed buff, a lot of bonus damage. Ooh, an almost hook, but a dodge from the cow. Really happy for him. He's probably really excited to dodge that hook. I know I would be. That was a tough moment. Ooh, Storm Spirit does zip all the way down the line. Comes all the way home immediately. So the idea there is to cast your teleport scroll, zip all the way down as much as you can, and then you end up directly back at your base once you arrive. The teleport scroll is complete. Remember, you're allowed to cast items and use items while you're doing your Bulge Lightning. It's a really good way for novice players to juke out a lot of the enemy and kind of stall out the game. So the idea is you end up zipping all the way down and they chase you, they start looking for you, but you're not even remotely there. It works typically the first time after they realize what you've done, or if they played, a few games and have had to deal with that from Storm Spirit. Spirit Breaker jumping in on the TA. You have a Life Stealer. We have a 3-man combo trying to nuke her down as fast as possible before she can get back into the game. So 97 seconds down on the hardest carry, 17-5 in this case. She is trying to take this game away and get a win. Definitely busting her tail. They do have a 17K gold lead, and they've adjusted the charts to where it's 43-47. Not what we were starting this game off when we got into this. So we'll kind of see how this progresses. Let's go back to override camera, and we'll see what happens. There is a disconnect. I'd like to follow the Mukau. He's... looks like Spirit Breakers had no problem jumping in. No problem at all. Life Stealer. Ulti is currently available. Storm Spirit is available, or Spirit Breaker is available in 3 seconds. Ooh, man, they provoked that BKB instantly. It is down to 6 seconds. I don't know if it was down to 6 seconds before, but one way or the other, it is down to 6 seconds now. Pushing into mid tower here. Life Stealer just going to tick that sucker down. Life Stealer, just because of the attack speed and his natural build, really great for hitting towers. The hook on the Spirit Breaker does miss. I do like the immediate follow from the Shallow Realm. See if she's finished her Ags. She has, in fact, finished her Ags. She is farm ready, 38 minutes in. And I got to say, potentially very lethal. If she can stay behind, she's extremely lethal. Let's see what's going on. Lena's just going ahead and pushing in, grabbing some free farm this bottom lane. It seems like everything is kind of chill. Some of the items that I think can be game breaking for one versus the other. I think the relocate options. Oh, there is a Lincoln Sphere picked up on the TA. Pretty excited about that overall. Going into agility, she's getting combat ready. She plans on killing. Anytime you see TA rotate into an agility stance, you know it's time for some people to die. Now, vision of the top lane, they're very aware, but they don't know how many is relocated in that location. They know Lifestealer's location. Now, they are showing, it looks like, 2 into the top lane. They might be wrapping to get kills rather than pushing up. Looks like Punch is utilizing that haste rune. Gonna throw a possible random hook. I know I would be terrified. Does blink in. Does not throw a hook. Misses the stun. Oh. And they have relocated themselves out. They're showing, looks like the Storm Spirit's showing mid lane. So they're completely aware that they're out of there now. Probably relocating to farm out. Beautiful stall. Rather than having to take a team fight that they're not ready for. They forced rotations. You probably could have gotten away at that point with hiding everybody there and forcing just the Pudge. But due to the vision, they knew everybody was showing up, so they're able to relocate safely. Smoke's still up. Oh, an immediate dismember going the way of the Undying. Grabs a random hook onto some creeps. Ancients going down. Are they going to try to push with this? Undying does have buyback. You can tell by this gold outer rim, if you're ever kind of curious as to why people realize that there is a buyback. 722, 1338, but this gold outer rim is what tells you whether or not they're buyback ready. It looks like they're going to start pushing into that tier 3. Sky is trying to take advantage of being down that tombstone, as well as a lot of their meat and beef. Granted, he takes 3 or 4 seconds to kill, but that's 3 or 4 seconds that you're focusing on Undying. They did get that pick off. Storm Spirit does come in with the lifesteal. They're jumping on top of the TA. Ice Path is dropped. We do have the Spirit Breaker still trying to nuke down the TA. If they get the TA down, that's kind of a GG moment. Does not have Aegis. She blinks out of there. Storm Spirit is chasing as much as he possibly can. The Lena comes up to protect her best friend. And looks like we have buybacks coming from the Storm Spirit, the Skywrath Mage, and the Spirit Breaker. TA does not go down. Lena is not down. I want to say that this one's GG, and there it is. It's called. It's in the books. Very difficult to deal with a godlike. Oh, man. Very well done. Beautiful game of Dota right here. Bringing it to Russia from, of course, anybody who speaks English. You're more than welcome to join in, even if you don't speak English. It looks like nobody's casting this. I would love to continue this. It is my wife's birthday. I plan on spending as much time as I can with her today. I just took advantage of a small break in time that I actually had. So I want to say thank you for staying here. Thank you for being a part of this. I had a great time. I hope you have a great time. It's been fun. It's been great. And we will